Be sure to subscribe to Viral now and click the bell so you'll never miss an upload of ours. Hi there everyone, my name is Jeremy Jameson here today with 10 failed Shark Tank deals. Shark Tank being the television program that allows entrepreneurs with new innovative businesses to present their work in front of a panel of already wealthy and successful business owners. They are referred to as the Sharks. The goal is to convince one or more of the Sharks to invest into your company in order to help take the business to the next level. Well, we're here looking at 10 times the exact opposite happened. Instead of receiving investments, they crashed and burned. Track Days. A duo came incredibly unprepared to pitch their film idea, Track Days, an action film centering around motorcycles. This really is quite the spectacle to watch, as it falls apart immediately with Cuban just flat out saying no.
We're seeking $5 million in exchange for 34% equity in our production.
Now, Track Days is a full-length action film.
I'm out.
It revolves around the exciting world, the motorcycle world championship.
I'm out.
Followed by this, they showcase a trailer of just graphics, no actual shots or anything about the story. On top of that, it's revealed they have not done any actual work besides setting up that trailer and setting up the set for this pitch. Literally no script or actors in mind or anything for the project itself.
You don't even have a script yet? We have the story.
We have the story.
Nobody ever comes along and says, give me money and then we'll do the work. They pitch the script. We say,
Absolutely.
We like it, we don't like it. Who's the producer?
That is the traditional thinking.
Here's a final clip to really drive home how much of a mess this whole presentation and idea was. It never did go anywhere, as the guys tried to crowdfund $2 million, but they only made $12,000 from it and then disappeared. There haven't been any updates in a very long time.
I can't be involved on nothing.
Okay, I'm out.
THROX. Edward Heaven, originally a screenplay writer who sold dozens of them, decided he wanted to break into the sock market with his idea of 3 socks being sold.
Let me ask you, what do you do when you lose a sock? THROX. 3 socks. 1, 2, 3. So when you lose one, you still have a pair.
Here is the immediate response to the whole idea of THROX. 3 socks paired together. I love it.
Edwin, I wonder, is this a real product?
You have no sales. You don't even have 0.001% share of this market. Have you patented this?
You cannot patent a package of 3 socks.
Right.
The Sullivan Generator. Mark Sullivan, a man who was quite educated. While looking into him, he is legitimately smart in a lot of aspects of life, except for this idea he has called a Sullivan Generator. The machine is supposed to create hurricanes in order to generate electricity and gold.
It works by taking in salt water, it processes the water, spins this into a hurricane. Waste products are the mineral precipitates, manganese, and gold.
What?
Gold.
So they then question Mark more on the device, and it just keeps looking more and more ludicrous.
If I gave you $1 million today, how long would it take to build the first one?
We would be operational in 9 months.
No way.
Wait.
Finally, Mark tells the Sharks what his other successful ventures are. I will say that he has found himself to this day still busy and is once again generally smart, continuing to try to innovate with new inventions, but the Sullivan machine is not a current project he is working on anymore.
You invented the artificial heart?
It's a left ventricular assist device. I write music, I design clothing, I sew.
I want to know what you sew.
Leather.
Wink, founder of this ice cream, Gabe Wolf, who came alongside Annie Blanova, came to the Sharks with an ice cream that is substituted with many things to try to make it only 100 calories for a pint, as well as being dairy-free among other health-conscious choices. Following their introduction, they give the Sharks all samples, and here's their reactions.
We have 6 flavors. Our first flavor is cake batter, cinnamon bun.
It tastes kind of, in the middle.
That's why we do the sundaes, to add a little bit of flavor to it, and so you can customize it.
I didn't want to say it, but
No,
it's
that's
kind of
fine.
bland
You can
on
say
its
it.
own.
Nobody ends up being into Wink. They are still a company today that seems to be doing alright. They're still operational, but certainly not exploding in popularity. Here's a closing statement that summarizes why the Sharks did not want to invest in this health-substituted ice cream.
You've achieved vegan, gluten-free, sugar-free, dairy-free, soy-free, fat-free, nut-free, egg-free, and taste-free.
Nice Pipes Apparel. Lisa Bendro, a woman who comes to the Sharks with leg warmers and arm warmers made out of the same material as yoga pants. Her pitch is that the alternative available are always made out of wool and are just way too itchy, so she targets comfort and warmth with her product. Here's the Sharks' initial reaction.
It's a very creative product. It's not proprietary whatsoever. Anybody can knock you off. The amount of stores you're in is tiny compared to how many stores it could be in. It's sort of like a hobby in a way.
It then starts to get a bit heated in the room, with Lisa snapping back at a couple of the Sharks. I'll say, I don't think Lisa went too over the top with her pushback, but it's still interesting to see on the show. Quite rare for this to happen.
If someone had said to Sarah Blakely, like, don't make Spanx, don't make a 12-top pantyhose, because
I absolutely agree, and I know
he's
her,
gonna beat you
but you
up.
gotta understand.
And she listened
Look
to
at her
that.
growth of her business.
She's Spanx, I am Nice Pipes.
Was
I'm really good at
300,000 your entire
design.
life savings?
Listen, let's just say we're not buying a house anytime soon.
She ends up getting an offer of 40% ownership for $100,000, but decides to turn it down. One question takes apart her entire valuation of the company for $1 million.
Why do you think the business is worth $1 million?
No, I didn't know how to evaluate business.
Did you come in to negotiate?
Absolutely. I didn't want to come in and ask for a number that was lower and then have no room.
Squirrel boss Michael DeSanti, the creator of this product, came up with the idea for an anti-squirrel bird feeder as he lives in a rural area in the state of Pennsylvania. He enjoys watching and feeding the birds that come by his home. However, he was getting annoyed by the amount of squirrels coming by and stealing the food right out of the bird feeder.
And my business is the Squirrel Boss Squirrel-Proof Bird Feeder. Squirrel Boss is the world's first interactive squirrel-proof bird feeder.
So the fail here, and you'll see this from the response from the Sharks, is that this is such a niche product, and the way the guy presents it is like this is some common problem that most people face.
Now we know squirrels are extremely cute, and they need to eat too. But they are 5-pound gorillas, and they are hogs.
I personally don't know a single person who needs to keep squirrels away from their bird feeder for random bird visitors that flock to their home. I'll let you hear exactly how it works from Michael himself.
Just press the remote control and deliver a harmless static shock correction that is similar to walking across the carpet and touching something.
Bam!
It tingles, but it doesn't hurt you.
Tower paddleboards. Stefan Aristel, the CEO of this paddleboarding company, presents his pitch for it and starts off strong. Here is a clip.
What if I told you the fastest growing water sport in the world was something that each of you could master in about 20 minutes? It's called stand-up paddleboarding.
The momentum rapidly slows down as he just freezes up and literally stops talking at one point. Definitely due to the fear via anxiety for the presentation that could bring a big step for his success, but he ended up messing it up.
Yet it's so easy to do that all of you can do it. My company is
The freezing continues for some more time. He almost gets back on track, but the recovery falls apart for him. Stefan did, however, end up getting $150,000 from Mark Cuban by the end of this pitch. So ultimately, he did achieve some investment, but it was very rocky to get there.
Can you tell us more about it? Sure, yeah. Stand-up paddleboarding is the fastest growing water sport in the world.
We know that. Don't worry, it's only your biggest moment in your life.
The sticky note holder, created by Mary Simonson. The idea behind this product was to add an attachable arm onto the side of any laptop screen so you can place sticky notes onto the arm.
Swing the sleeve in when you're ready to go, and as you can see, none of them fall off.
Oh, I see why it's worth $500,000.
Thank you!
It folds into the computer. Of course, that makes sense to me now.
The sharks are not at all impressed, as it seems incredibly useless, and for the price of nearly $10 with no sales, there was no chance Mary would be getting her any investors.
$9.50 for you.
Stop the madness! Are you out of your mind?
Yes.
Are you crazy?
Yes.
Who would give you $10 for that?
A lot of people.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
I've done surveys.
There's so many bad things about this.
Go Cubes. Jeff Wu and Michael Brandt, the co-founders of this product, created this as a supplement for coffee by packing the caffeine content into a small cube that contains 6 grams of sugar. When the shark takes one each, they all respond quite positively to it. It tastes good. But here's the ridiculous part. They're asking $2 million for a 5% stake in the company, pricing them at a record-breaking $40 million. No one has ever been anywhere near that valuation on the show.
Our company is NutriBox, and we're seeking $2 million in exchange for 5% stake in our company.
Hello. They continue to try to convince the sharks with science, but they just think that the asking valuation would be way too much for this caffeine supplement at $40 million is just crazy.
Caffeine and L-theanine together. So there's actually a bunch of trials showing the effects of that active combination ingredient versus caffeine alone versus placebo.
Hey, Robert, you just ate one of these. Can you remember where we are in this pitch?
Their company is still operational today. They seem to be doing alright. Pavlok, a wearable device that uses operant conditioning through haptic feedback to modify behavior. So what this means is you wear this around your wrist and shock yourself every time you go to do a bad habit. This is supposed to train you to stop doing that habit. For example, if you were to bite your nails, well, you shock yourself, and that should be a deterrent for wanting to do so.
All right.
Oh. Ow. Turn it back.
Turn it
now.
down.
Ow. Wow. How do you turn it off?
I barely feel it.
He ends up getting an offer from Kevin O Leary, but declines. Here's the other feedback Manish was also dealing with.
What percentage of the time does it not work?
It doesn't work if you don't want it to work. So if you use it on sugar, after about 3 or 4 days on like a cookie or tortilla chips, you'll start to notice the flavor changes. Now, what's interesting about it in the
You
first...
start to notice the flavor changes.
Yeah, you do.
You're such a con artist.
Thank you so much for watching. For Viral Now, I'm Jeremy Jameson, wishing you to have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.